Now, Steven was, like I said, directing one movie and the executive producer of the other. And basically, as the executive producer, you're the boss because the executive producers, what they do, they put the money up for the actual film. They're responsible for the success of the film and everything. Um, so he was my boss. He was the man who was signing my check. And it was a big check, too, because I think at that time I brought home about $300 a day was my salary. So I started from zero and just fresh got off the boat and started making about $300 a day working for the old MGM studios at the time with Lorimar Studios, and presently it's Sony Picture Studios. So he was my boss. I also was fortunate enough to, after that, and actually during that time of grip work, I worked also for 20th Century Fox. I was there doing the making of Men in Black was actually made at the Sony studios, but they were actually working on, I think, Predator at the time. I was working on Fox. And then I went from there and I worked over at Paramount, where we worked on Star Trek. I actually worked on the Star Trek set as a grip there, and did some other things for some of the other movie studios too. So I bounced all around. I was all around. I worked for 20th Century Fox, Sony, Lorimar, which is still Sony, Paramount, and I also worked in the Valley at the what do you call it down? Warner Brothers. And I also worked for the old Desilu studio, Culver City Studios, which was owned by Desilu Productions, which was the old I Love Lucy studios. So I was very fortunate, to come in and start with nothing and go from scratch and then work for all these various places. I was there when John Singleton started. I was there before John Singleton. He's the guy who started and directed the movie Boys in the Hood. And the reason why they picked him is they wanted to have somebody to rival Spike Lee. So Spike Lee was making his movies, and they had to get that black influence, that movement that was going on in the production of various films at the time. They wanted to have the competition, so they actually hired him. I was there. Me and him actually competed for a lot of the same girls on the studio lot. Of course, his first check was like $160,000, I think it was. So that competition didn't last very long. But anyway, I had missed Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is really a hero on the studio lots. I know don't hear a lot about Eddie Murphy, and he doesn't get the recognition that he should get in Hollywood, and I don't know why, but he really is a great human being. He reminds me of the great Frank Sinatra, and you say, well, Eddie Murphy, Frank Sinatra, I don't see the comparisons, don't they? Well, basically, this is it. Frank Sinatra did a lot of things for people that people would never know about. Frank Sinatra paid to have Bela Lugosi, the guy who played Dracula, he paid for his funeral. And he also paid to have Joe Louis. I think he paid for Joe Louis's funeral as well. Frank Sinatra did those two things. He also visited prisons and used to do concerts and for prisoners and do things for prisoners. There's a lot of things that you don't know about Frank Sinatra, but he was that kind of guy. Well, Eddie Murphy did a whole lot of things behind the scenes, too. One of the things Eddie Murphy would do is when he was making his various movies, they would go and they would hire all the black folks that he could find doing any job, and he would hire them to be on his movie set and work on his films. Now, you can't even say anything like that now because people look at, oh, that's racist, that's this, that's that. But you have to understand that black folks was a minority on the studio lots, okay? Like the lot that I worked on, Sony, at the time I was there, it was just 3 black guys. 1,000 other folks, but only 3 black guys. So it was very important to keep them working, keep them hanging in there, keep them doing what they could do in order to get paid. But anyway, I spent time with Spielberg, was able to talk to him, was able to uh, let him know who I was, and he took time to want to get to know me. He took time to ask me lots of questions, and all of this is in my book, God, Sexy Me in Hollywood, and you can, get a copy of it on my site, stonethug.com, and I'll be giving away signed copies soon when people give donations of $20 or more. So you can get that if you give a donation of $20 or more through PayPal to the Jones2470007.com. You can send that there, and we'll be notified, and then we can send you a copy of the book. And if you don't want a copy of the book, we want a copy of a music CD or something like that, just request it, and we can do that too, and we can also sign it. But anyway, tell a friend. We want people to know this. We want to get this information out. But to let people know that, hey, your dreams and aspirations can be achieved as well. It's just a great thing to have an opportunity to meet people of that caliber. And it was just a wonderful experience for me. I'm very thankful and grateful to the big fella up above for allowing it to happen. And I was able to become friends with Spielberg's mom, and she cooked for me on a regular basis, and met his sister. And just, it was just great to have that experience. And I also became a supporter of one of Spielberg's first organizations, which I can't pronounce the name right now, but it's the one that, saved older Jews and stuff like that. Heritage, their stories from people who suffered through the Holocaust and things of that nature. So it was just a great experience. I'm glad I had it, and I'm just glad I'm able to tell the story. So anyway, that's just one more story you'll find in the book. So buy the book, and thank you for listening. This is Stone Thug. Peace out.